10 years ago, the legislation was passed which enabled the creation of bids in Scotland. And 2 years later, we had 5 bids, the 5 Pathfinder bids. We owe a lot to the Pathfinders. They tested out the legislation, they created the methodology, much of which we still use today. But perhaps more importantly, they set the route map for other people to follow. They gave confidence to other groups to start looking at developing a bid. Today, we have 34 bids. We've got a further 15 in development. We've got another 4 waiting for grant. The model keeps changing, keeps developing and growing. But of course, the numbers about bids is only half the story. The other half of the story is the strong local partnerships, people working across the community, delivering for the community and for the local businesses, and creating that strength at a very local level. In 2008, it took 24 months to develop a bid. Now it takes 12 months. But the model continues to develop. As you heard from Graham earlier on, Scotland announced the first tourism bid, I would suggest, this side of the Atlantic. Never been done before. A bid that covers, according to Graham, over 1,000 square miles and 300 businesses. This year, we announced the first food and drink bid. And I think that's probably the first food and drink bid in the world. It's getting ready to go to ballot. The East Lothian Food and Drink bid supported by East Lothian Council. And it's unique in one sense. The levy is based on the number of employees. So we've got differences happening again in the way that the model is used. Last year, Scottish Waterways Trust announced that they were going to develop canal bids, or perhaps canal urban regeneration bids. We're seeing different people come forward, different agencies, different bodies, looking also to develop bids. So it's not just about growing numbers, it's about how the model is used, how it's developed, and who uses it. Very basically, the bids model, at its very basic, is a financial model. That's all it is. And we'll hear from Tom Casey later on about his community-centric bids. Very focused on the local community and working across the community. So what about the next generation? How will the bids take benefit of the Community Empowerment Bill? Will they use the Land Reform Act? Will we see bids coming forward that are perhaps for textiles? Will we see bids coming forward that are perhaps supporting capital investment? I think we will hear later on about the Borders Railway, a huge capital investment heading down to the borders, and the encouragement of bids to help the economic growth that that Borders Railway will deliver. Maybe also we'll see new bodies, non-departmental public bodies, local authorities, different types of agencies, different local groups. But also perhaps different types of projects and different types of services, all delivering on inclusive growth. A short thank you. I just want to say thank you not just to all the agencies and bodies, the government and the local authorities that helped us over the year, because without them we wouldn't be here. But especially to the local community groups and the local business associations that have looked at bids, spoken to operational bids, had the confidence to develop the model, and have joined us in developing bids in Scotland. That's the main thing about bids. It all comes back to local people taking ownership, responsibility and accountability for their own area. So thank you to all of the agencies, and particularly those local community groups and local businesses. So, 10 years. Here's to the next 10 years, and here's to the next generation. Thank you.